ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातममुमुचते कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम् एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तदा भागवतं लभेत् ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यात् वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान् भगवन्नाम साम्राज्य लक्ष्मी सर्वस्वविग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्रयोगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुम् अवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबद भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरे नमः श्रीहरे नमः श्रीहरे नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, so we'll do a review of 9 today. So let me just see who I had today. Revati, you can do one half. Jayashree, you can do one half. Jayashree Shankar. So
Okay.
so you can do one of you can do 1 to 18. Other person can do 19 to 35.
Jayashree போறீங்களா?
Okay, sounds. गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय इति श्रीमद्भागवते प्रथमस्कन्धे नवमोऽध्यायः। सूत उवाच इति भीतः प्रजाद्रोहात् सर्वधर्मविवित्सया ततो विनशनं प्रागात् यत्र देवव्रतोपतत् तदा ते भ्रातरः सर्वे सदश्वै स्वर्णभूषितैः अन्वगच्छन् रथैर्विप्राः व्यासधौम्यादयस्तथा भगवानपि विप्रर्षे रतेन स धनञ्जयः रोचत नृपः कुबेर इव गुह्यकैः दृष्ट्वा निपतितं भूमौ दिवश्च्युतमिवाम्बरम् प्रणेमुः पाण्डवा भीष्मं सानुगाः सह चक्रिणा तत्र ब्रह्मर्षयः सर्वे देवर्षयश्च सत्तमा राजर्षयश्च तत्रासन् द्रष्टुं भरतपुङ्गवम् पर्वतो नारदो धौम्यो भगवान् बादरायणः बृहदश्वो भरद्वाजः सशिष्यो रेणुकासुतः वसिष्ठ इन्द्रप्रमदः त्रितो गृत्समदोषितः कक्षीवान् गौतमोऽत्रश्च कौशिकोऽत सुदर्शनः अन्ये च मुनयो ब्रह्मरातादयो मलाः शिष्यैरुपेता आजग्मुः कश्यपाङ्गिरसादयः तान् समेतान् महाभागान् उपलभ्य वसुत्तमः पूजयामास धर्मज्ञो देशकालविभागवित् कृष्णं च तत्प्रभावज्ञ आसीनं जगदीश्वरं हृदयस्थं पूजयामास माययोपात्तविग्रहं पाण्डुपुत्रानुपासीनान् प्रश्य प्रेमसङ्गतान् अभ्याचष्टानुरागास्त्रैः अन्धीभूतेन चक्षुषा
Sorry,
अहो
Jason, the 11th first half. Prashraya.
प्रश्रय
Yeah.
I missed that. Yeah, I realized it. Yeah, thank you. अहो कष्टमहो न्यायं यद्यूयं धर्मनन्दनाः जीवितुं नाहर्त क्लिष्टं विप्रधर्माच्युताश्रयाः संस्थिते तिरथे पाण्डौ कृता बालप्रजावधूः युष्मत्कृते बहून् क्लेशान् प्राप्ता तोकवती मुहुः सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव घनावलिः यत्र धर्मसुतो राजा गदापानिर्वृकोदरः कृष्णो स्त्रीगाण्डिवं चापं सुहृत्कृष्णस्ततो विपत् न ह्यस्य कर्हि च राजन् पुमान् वेद विदित्सितं यद्विजिज्ञासया युक्ताः मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि हि तस्मादिदं दैवतन्त्रं वयवस्य भरतर्षभः तस्यानुविहितो नाताः नातपाहि प्रजाः प्रभो
The first line, first line, I think the way you said before was right. Vyavasya.
व्यवस्य यादेन टङ्ग् ट्विस्टर् मार्यार्ग तस्मादिदं दैवतन्त्रं व्यवस्य भरतर्षभ तस्यानुविहितो नाताः नातपाहि प्रजाः प्रभो एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् आद्यो नारायणः पुमान् मोहयन् माययां लोकं गूढश्चरति वृष्णिषु अस्यानु
Sorry. I think in Mayaya, not Mayayam. Did you say Mayayam?
मोहयन् मायया लोकम्
Okay, that's right. You can go ahead.
अस्यानुभावं भगवान् वेदगुह्यतमं शिवः देवर्षिस्नारदः साक्षात् भगवान् कपिलो नृप यं मन्यसे मातुलेयं प्रियं मित्रं सुहृत्तमम् अगरो सशिवं दूतं सौहृदा तदसारथिं सर्वात्मनः समदृशो हयत् यत्वयस्ज्ञानहङ्कृतेः तत्कृतं मदिवैष्ण्यं निरवत्स्य न क्वचित् तदाप्येकान्तभक्तेषु पश्य भूपानुकम्पितं यन्मे सत्यजतः साक्षात् कृष्णो दर्शनमागतः
I'm sorry, on the second line beginning, Yenme assumes Tyajatas.
यन्मेषुं त्यजतः साक्षात् कृष्णो दर्शनमागतः भक्त्यावेश्य मनो यस्मिन् वाचा यन्नाम कीर्तयन् त्यजन् कलेवरं यो हि मुच्यते कामकर्मभिः स देवदेवो भगवान् प्रदीक्षतां कलेवरं यावत् इदं हिनोम्यहं प्रसन्नहासारुणलोचलोल्लसत् मुकाम्बुजोद्यानपतश्चतुर्भुजः सूत उवाच
on the second line la, if you're stopping at that locha no lasat, then it's a it there. But because we're saying it together, it becomes an in there. Okay, so locha no lasan mukambhujo, because we put a plus there, right?
प्रसन्नहासारुण लोचलोल्लसन् मुकाम्बुजो.
Yeah, locha no lasan, na sound.
Yeah.
Locha no lasan.
लोचलोल्लसन् मुकाम्बुजो.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. ध्यानपतश्चतुर्भुजः सूत उवाच युधिष्ठिरस्तदा कर्ण्य शयानं सरपञ्चरे अभृच्छत् विवितान् धर्मान् ऋषीणां चानुशृण्वताम् पुरुषस्वभावविहितान् यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमं वैराग्य சாரி எத்தனாவதுல இருந்தேன்
626
சாரி தொடரத்துக்குள்ள எங்கேயோ போயிடுது சாரி
26
पुरुषस्वभावविहितान् यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमं वैराग्यरागोपदिभ्याम् आत्मनादो भयलक्षणान् दानधर्म
आम्नातो भय im sound आम्नातो
भयलक्षणान् दानधर्मान् राजधर्मान् मोक्षधर्मान् विभागसः स्त्रीधर्मान् भगवद्धर्मान् स्मासव्यासयोगतः धर्मार्थकाममोक्षांश्च होभायान् यथा मुने नानाज्ञानेदिहासेषु वर्णयामास तत्त्ववेत् धर्मं प्रवततस्तस्य सकालः प्रत्युपस्थितः यो योगिनश्चन्न मृत्योः वाञ्छितस्तु उत्तरायणः
again that one's better to say that together vanchitastutarayanah, because it becomes a long
वाञ्छितस्तुत्तरायणः तदोपसंहृत्य किरक्षगश्रणीः विमुक्तसङ्गं मा आदिपुरुषे कृष्णे लसत्पीतपटे சதுர் எப்படி அதை கம்பைன் பண்ணணும்?
I don't know if your line was ending. The sahasranihi is a comma there, and then adi purushe is the end of that line. Then krishne lasat pita pate chaturbhuje comma.
कृष्णे लसत् पीतपटे चतुर्भुजे पुरस्थिते अमिलित दृग्व्यधारयत् विशुद्धया धारणया हता शुभः तदीक्षयै वासुकथायुतव्यतः निवृत्त सर्वेन्द्रिय वृत्तिविप्रमः दुष्टावजन्य विसृज्जनार्दनं श्रीभीष्म उवाच
विसृजन्
जनार्दनं श्रीभीष्म उवाच इति मदिरूपकल्पिता विदृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुङ्गवे विभूम्नि स्वसुमुखमुपकते क्वचित् विहर्तुं प्रकृतिमुपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः.
And the comma, sorry, the comma is after the vihartum from pause halfway. Kvachit
vihartum प्रकृतिमुपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाहः. त्रिभुवनकमनं तमालवर्णं रविकरगौरवराम्बरं तदाने वपुरलककुलावृतान् नाब्जं विजयसखेरधिरस्तु मे नवद्या युतिदुरकरजो विधूम्रविश्वकचलुलितश्रमवार्यलङ्कृतास्ये मम निशितसरैः विभित्यामनत्वचि विलसत् कवचेस्तु कृष्णात्मा सपति सखी.
Second line and the sharai nishita sharaihi you are saying, right? Because we are not stopping, ir is the joining letter, so nishita sharair vibidyamana.
Okay. mama nishita sarair vibidyamanatvasi vilasatvache astu krishnatma sabati sakhi vacho nisamya madhye nijaparayo palayo ratam niveshya stitavadi parasainikayuh akshna kritavadi partha sakeratirmamastu.
All right, so we'll continue from 36. Let me see here. Gopiji is not on today. Okay. So Srividya, Ramesh, you can be student first half, and then Vijaya, you can be student in the first half.
Yeah, நான் இருக்கேன் பட் என்னோட இன்டர்நெட் அப்பப்போ போயிட்டு வருது, but I think I should be okay. If something comes, I'll join back.
Yeah, if it disconnects, I'll change. Okay, so we'll continue from 36 today. So vyavahita prithana mukham nirikshya, comma swajana vadat vimukhasya dosha buddhya kumatim. So the next one I'm going to break into 4 parts there. Kumatim aharat atma vidyaya, if you want to break it. Kumatim aharat atma vidyaya yaha. So that ish that is there, that goes away. Put a visarga comma yaha. Charana ratif paramasya tasya mestu. Yeah.
Can you tell sorry, Rajesh, can you do the second line one more time?
Sure. Kumatim aharat atma vidyaya. Okay, kumatim aharat atma vidyaya yaha. So that ish becomes the visarga there, comma. Then charana ratif paramasya tasya mestu.
Rajesh, the first line oru vaati konjam solla mudiyuma?
Yeah. Vyavahita prithana mukham nirikshya, comma swajana vadat vimukhasya dosha buddhya. Vyavahita prithana mukham nirikshya swajana vadat vimukhasya dosha buddhya kumatim aharat atma vidyaya yaha charana ratif paramasya tasya mestu.
Vyavahita prithanamukham nirikshya swajanavadhat vimukasya dosha buddhaya kumatim aharat atmavidyayah charanaratif paramasya tasya mestu. Vyavahita prithanamukham nirikshya swajanavadhat vimukasya dosha buddhaya kumatim aharat atmavidyayah charanaratif paramasya tasya mestu.
And the first line, last word is buddhya, just idda, buddhya.
Okay, buddhya.
And then the second line word is vidyaya, double ya or vidyaya.
Vidyaya, sorry. Okay, vidyaya.
Vyavahita pritanamukham nirikshya swajana vadat vimukasya dosha buddhya kumatim aharat atma vidyaya yaha charanarati pramasya tasya mestu. Vyavahita pritanamukham nirikshya swajana vadat vimukhasya dosha buddhya kumatim aharat atma vidyaya yaha charanarati paramasya tasya mestu.
Swa nigamam apahaya mat pratignyam. So the mr that is there, we'll first break it. Pratignyam, comma. Next word starts with the r. Rithamadi kartum avapluto. You can break it that ma. Kartum avapluto ratastaha. Dhrita ratha charanobhyayaj chaladguhu. So on top of the next letter ha, there is a ir. So we're going to put a visarga. Chaladguhu, comma, visarga, comma. Haririva hantumibam gatottariyah. Swanigamam apahaya mat pratignyam ritamadi kartumavapluto ratastah dhritarata charanobhyaya chaladguhu haririva hantumibam gatottariyah.
Swanigamam pahaya mat pratigyam pratamadikartum avaplutos rathastah dhritarata charanobhya yachachala. Sorry, அந்த இடத்துல வந்து chala
அந்த charanobhyayach ich sound. Charanobhyayach chaladguhu.
Okay. Dhritarata charanopyayach chaladguhu haririva hantumibham gottariyah. Sorry. Swanigamam pahaya mat pratigyam
धृतमधिकर्तुम अवप्लुतो रथस्थः धृतरथचरणोऽभ्ययाच्छ चलगुहुः हरिरिव हन्तुमिभं गतोत्तरीयः.
And this first line, when you break it at that im, right, the next letter is r sound, ritamadi.
Okay, rita. Okay.
स्वनिकममपहाय मत्प्रतिज्ञां ऋतमधिकर्तुम् अवप्लुतो रथस्थः धृतरथचरणोऽप्ययाच्चलगुः हरिरिव हन्तुमिपं कदोत्तरीयः स्वनिगममपहाय मत्प्रज्ञां ऋतमधिकर्तुम् अवप्लुतो रथस्थः धृतरथचरणोऽप्ययाच्चलद्गुः हरिरिव हन्तुमिपं कदोत्तरीयः.
So here the word the uttariyaha is coming, right? It's referring to the uttariyam, which is the upper garment. So Bhishma is saying that, in the battle of the Mahabharata, as you all know the story, to fulfill my vow, Krishna, you then got down, although you had taken a vow not to fight, but to keep my vow, you got down from the battlefield with the wheel in your hand, and then you came running towards me as if like a lion is approaching another enemy, right? And when you're doing it, your upper garment, which you had, fell down on the ground, right? But you didn't, he was just kind of referring to that that instance there. Shita Vishika Hato Vishirna Damshaha, comma, Kshataja Paripluta Atatayino Me Prasabham Abhisasara. You can break it that ma. Prasabham Abhisasara Mat Badhartam, comma, Sa Bhavatu Me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. Shitibishikahato Vishirna Damshaha Kshataja Paripluta Atatayino Me Prasabam Abhisasara Matvadhartam Sa Bhavatu Me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha.
क्षितिविशिखहतो विशीर्णदंशः शतज परिप्लुत आततायिनो मे प्रसभमपि ससारमध्वधार्थं स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्दः. क्षितिविशिखहतो विशीर्णदंशः शतज परिप्लुत आततायिनो मे प्रसभमपि ससार मत्वधार्तं स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्दः.
First word is Shita or Shiti?
Shita.
Sorry, did I say Shiti by mistake? Sorry.
No, you didn't. No, sorry.
Oh.
Rajesh, second line, Prasapam Apisasara Madhvathartam. Is there sa at the end? There is two sas for me actually.
No, just Madhvathartam.
Okay.
Then Sa Bhavatu Me.
Okay. Thank you.
स्थितविश्रिकहतो विशीर्णदंशः क्षतज परिप्लुत आदतायिनो मे प्रसभम् अभिससारमत्वदार्तं स भगवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्दः.
In line, Sa Bhavatu, not Bhagavatu, just Bhavatu. Sa Bhavatu Me Bhagavan.
Sa Bhavatu. Okay.
Yeah.
Sita Visika Ato Vishirnatamshah Shadaja Paripluta Adatayino Me Prasabam Abhisasara Matvadaartam Sa Bhavatu Me Bhagavan Gatirmukuntaha.
Vijaya Ratha Kutumba Ata Totre, comma, Drita Haya Rashmini Tach Triyekshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho. So put a visarga and comma there. Next, on top of the word Yamiha, you will have like a ir, so that goes away. Yamiha Niriksha Hata Gatas Sarupam. So here, next couple of things, like it's the 39 here. So he's saying that form of yours. He says, at the time of my death, anyway, Bhishma is about to his final moments of his life, right? So he's saying, as my final moments of my life are coming, as I'm about to pass away, He says, let my attraction be that Krishna who is, who is the charioteer of Arjuna, who is actually holding, on one hand, he's actually holding, the whip, right, for the horse whip. Other, he's actually holding the rope, which is actually controlling the horses. So that particular form of Arjuna, who is then driving the Sarathi, who is the Sarathi for Arjuna, may that form be visible to me, because just by looking at that form, whoever was there in the battle of Kurukshetra got blessed. Whoever saw that form of Krishna, who's riding the chariot, holding the two things in his hand, may that form be visible to me at the time of my death. Vijaya Rata Kutumba Atatotre Dhritahay Rashmini Tachriye Kshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho Yamiha Niriksha Hata Gata Sarupam.
Vijayarata Kutumba Atatotre Dhritahaya Rashmini Tachriye Kshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Swarupam.
Sarupam. Last word.
Sarupam. Okay. Gata Sarupam. Vijayaratha Kudumbha Attatotre Dhritahaya Rashmini Tachriye Kshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Sarupam.
Vijayarata Kudumba Adanototre Hridahaya Rashmini Tachri Ekshaniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Swarupam.
Sarupam. Last word. Sarupam.
Swarupam Katha Swarupam.
You're saying Swarupam. It is Sarupam.
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 Okay, இங்க வந்து இதுல வந்து ஸ்வரூபம் இருக்கு. Okay.
Okay, you change to Sarupam.
Okay. Vijayarata Kudumba Adatotre Hridahaya Rasmini Tachrihi Ekshiniye Bhagavati Ratirastu Me Mumurshoho Yamiha Nirikshya Hata Gata Srupam.
Sarupam. I think some books may have Swarupam, but it has Sarupam here, so we'll just stick to that.
Kada Sarupam.
14. Lalita Gati Vilasa Valgu Hasa. That's the halfway point. Put a plus. Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpitorumanaha Kritam Anukritavatya Unmadandhaha, Prakriti Magan Kila Yasya Gopa Vadvaha. So just talking about this again, let my mind be fixated on that form of Krishna, whose motion and his smiles, everything captured the mind of the Gopikas, right? And so even during the Rasa Krida, even before Krishna came, if you remember, they used to all imitate the motions of Krishna and the smile of Krishna. So that particular form of Krishna may reside in my heart. Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpitorumanaha Kritamanu-kritavatya Unmadandhaha Prakriti Magan Kila Yasya Gopavadvaha.
Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpito Rumanaha Kritamanu Kritavatsya Unmadandhaha Prakriti Magana Kila Yasya Gopavadvaha. Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpito Rumanaha Kritamanu Kritavatsya Unmadandhaha Prakriti Magana Kila Yasya Gopavadvaha.
So in the second line after the comma, first word, Prakriti Magan.
Magan, okay.
Lalita Gati Vilasa Valguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kalpitorumanaha Kritam कृतवत्य उन्मदान्ताः प्रकृतिमहन् किल यस्य गोपवत्वः ललितकतिविलासवल्गुहा आस प्रणयनिरीक्षणकल्पितोरुमानाः कृतम् अनुकृतवत्य उन्मदान्ताः प्रकृतिमहन् किल यस्य गोपवत्वः
मुनि गण नृप वर्य संकुलेन्तः कॉमा सदसि युधिष्ठिर राजसूय एषाम् अर्हणम् उपपेद, if you want to break it, अर्हणम् उपपेद ईक्षणीयो कॉमा मम दृशि गोचर एष आविरात्मा. So he's saying the other form which may remember, which comes to my mind also, is that the Rajasuya Yajna that Yudhishthira performed. If you remember, there was this conversation of who should we all worship, right? And then Nakula then said, let's worship Krishna. Everybody agreed. That's when Shishupala then opposed and started saying all this 100 times he cursed Krishna, right? So that instance when everybody, all the Munis, the Ganas, the Nripas, kings, everybody who accepted Krishna as a supreme lord and then worshipped him at the Rajasuya sacrifice, may that form also be in my remembrance. Munigana Nripavargya Sankulentah Sadasi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Esham Arhanam Upapeda Ikshaniyo Mama Drishigochara Esha Aviratma.
मुनिगणनृपवर्य संकुलेन्तः सदसि युधिष्ठिर राजसूय एषाम् अर्हणमुपपेद ईक्षणीयो मम दृशिगोचर एष आविरात्मा मुनिगणनृपवर्य संकुलेन्तः सदसि युधिष्ठिर राजसूय एषाम् अर्हणमुपपेद ईक्षणीयो मम दृशिगोचर एष आविरात्मा
मुनिगणनृपवर्य संकुलेन्तः सदसि युधिष्ठिरराजसूय एषाम् अर्हणम् उपपेद ईक्षणीयो मम दृष्टिगोचर एष आविरात्मा मुनिगणनृपवर्य संकुलेन्तः सदसि युधिष्ठिरराजसूय एषाम् अर्हणम् उपपेद ईक्षणीयो मम दृष्टिगोचर एष आविरात्मा.
42. Tamimam ahamajam, if you want to break that, tamimam ahamajam sharira bhajam, comma, hridi dishtitam atma kalpitanam pratidrishamiva naika dharkamekam. You can't break it. So naika dharkamekam, comma, samadhi ghatosmi vidhuta bheda mohaha. So this is the last stanza of the Bhishma Stuti, where he says that now finally he says I can meditate completely on this with full concentration, may meditate on that form of Sri Krishna who's present before me, and finally I've come to the realization that there is no duality, right? It is the same Krishna who's in me that I'm actually seeing right in front of this person also, and who's also in everybody. Just like how, you know, the sun, you may perceive sun differently, but the sun is only one. Similarly, this Krishna is only one who's there in everybody, and I'm finally beginning to realize that non-duality, right? This is the last stanza of the Stuti. Tamimamahamajam sharira bhajam hridi dishthitam pratidrishamiva naikadharkamekam samadhigatosmi vidhuta bheda mohaha.
तमिमं महमजं शरीरभाजां हृदि दिष्टितम् आत्मकल्पितानां प्रतिदृशमिव नैकदार्कमेकं समधिगतोऽस्मि विधूतभेदमोहः तमिमं அந்தத்துல அகம் போட்டுக்கணுமா?
That's easier to say it, otherwise you can say it together also. Tamimam ahamajam.
Ahamajam. Okay. तमिम अहमजं शरीरभाजां हृदि दिष्टितम् आत्मकल्पितानां प्रतिदृशमिव नैकदार्कमेकं समधिगतोऽस्मि विदूतभेदमोहः
तमिमं हहमजं शरीरभाजां हृदि दृष्टितम् आत्मकल्पितानां प्रतिदृशमिव नैकतार्कमेकं समधिगतोऽस्मि विदूतभेदमोहः तमिमं हहमजं शरीरभाजां हृदि दृष्टितम् आत्मकल्पितानां प्रतिदृशमिव नैकतार्कमेकं समधिगतोऽस्मि विदूतभेदमोहः.
Vijay, on the first line, Dishtitam.
Tishtitam. Oh, no, very much on that. Okay, Tishtitam.
I heard a re sound there, but yeah, Dishtitam. Sutau Vacha, Krishna evam Bhagavati, short e, comma, Mano Vag Drishti Vrittibihi, Atmanyatmanam. So up to that, you say it together. Atmanyatmanam Aveshya. You can break at that ma, comma. Sontashvasa Uparamat. Sutauvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Mano Vag Drishti Vrittibihi Atmanyatmanamaveshya Sontashvasa Uparamat.
सूतौवाच कृष्ण एवं भगवती मनोवाक्दृष्टिवृत्तिभिः आत्मन्यात्मानम् अवेश्य सोऽन्तश्वास उपारमत्
Sontashvasa, just shwa.
श्वास सूतौवाच कृष्ण एवं भगवती मनोवाक्दृष्टिवृत्तिभिः आत्मन्यात्मानमावेश्य सोऽन्तश्वास उपारमत्
सूत उवाच कृष्ण एवं भगवती मनोवाक्दृष्टिवृत्तिभिः आत्मन्यात्मानमावेश्य सोऽन्तश्वास उपारमत् सूत उवाच कृष्ण एवं भगवती मनोवाक्दृष्टिवृत्तिभिः आत्मन्यात्मानमावेश्य सोऽन्तश्वास उपारमत्
Sampadyamanam Agnyaya. Again, you can break it that ma if you want. Sampadyamanam Agnyaya, comma. Bhishmam Brahmani Nishkale Sarve Bhabuvuste Tushnim, comma. Vayamsiva Dinatyaye. Sampadyamanam Agnyaya Bhishmam Brahmani Nishkale Sarve Bhabuvuste Tushnim Vayamsiva Dinatyaye.
सम्पद्यमानमाज्ञाय भीष्मं ब्रह्मणि निष्कले सर्वे बभूवुस्ते तूष्णीं वयांसीव दिनात्यये सम्पद्यमानमाज्ञाय भीष्मं ब्रह्मणि निष्कले सर्वे बभूवुस्ते तूष्णीं सीव दिनात्यये.
Vayamsiva.
Sorry. Yeah, I got it wrong. Sorry, thank you. Vayamsiv dinatyaye.
सम्पद्यमानम् आज्ञाय भीष्मं ब्रह्मणि निष्कले सर्वे बभूवुस्तु तूष्णीं वयांसीव दिनात्यये सम्पद्यमानम् आज्ञाय भीष्मं ब्रह्मणि निष्कले सर्वे बभूवुस्ते तूष्णीं वयांसीव दिनात्यये.
Tatra Dundubhayo neduhu, put a visarga comma. Next line on top of the word deva, there is a ir that goes away. Deva manava vaditaha shashamsus sadavo ragnyam, comma, khatpetuf pushpa vrishtayaha. Tatra dundubhayo neduhu deva manava vaditaha shashamsus sadavo ragnyam khatpetuf pushpa vrishtayaha.
तत्र दुन्दुभयो नेदुः देवमानववादिताः शंशुः साधवो राज्ञां कात्पेतुः पुष्पवृष्टयः
Shashamsu, the second line first. Shashamsus.
सशंसु ओके तत्र दुन्दुभयो नेदुः देवमानवमादिताः शशंसुः साधवो राज्ञां कात्पेतुः पुष्पवृष्टयः
तत्र दुन्दुभयो नेतुः देवमानववादिताः सशंसु साधवो राज्ञां हातुभेदु पुष्पवृष्टयः तत्र दुन्दुभयो नेतुः देवमानववादिताः शशंसु साधवो राज्ञां हातुभेदु पुष्पवृष्टयः
Satya nirharanadini, short e, comma, samparetasya bhargava yudhishthirah karayitva, comma, muhurtam dukkito bhavat. Tasya nirharanadini samparetasya bhargava yudhishthirah karayitva muhurtam dukkito bhavat.
तस्य निर्हरणादीनि सम्परेतस्य भार्गव युधिष्ठिरः कारयित्वा मुहूर्तं दुःखितोऽभवत् तस्य निर्हरणादीनि सम्परेतस्य भार्गव युधिष्ठिरः कारयित्वा मुहूर्तं दुःखितोऽभवत्
तस्य निर्हरणाधीनि सम्परेतस्य भार्गव युधिष्ठिराकारयित्वा मुहूर्तं दुःखितो भवत् तस्य निर्हरणाधीनि सम्परेतस्य भार्गव युधिष्ठिराकारयित्वा मुहूर्तं दुःखितो भवत्
तुष्टुवुर मुनयो हृष्टाः, comma, कृष्णं तद्गुह्य नामभिः ततस्ते कृष्ण हृदयाः, comma, स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः. तुष्टुवुर्मुनयो हृष्टाः कृष्णं तद्गुह्य नामभिः ततस्ते कृष्ण हृदयाः स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः.
तुष्टुवुर्मुनयो हृष्टाः कृष्णं तद्गुह्य नामभिः ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः तुष्टुवुर्मुनयो हृष्टाः कृष्णं तद्गुह्य नामभिः ततस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः
तुष्टुर्मुनयोरिष्टाः कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः तदस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः तुष्टुर्मुनयो हृष्टाः कृष्णं तद्गुह्यनामभिः तदस्ते कृष्णहृदयाः स्वाश्रमान् प्रययुः पुनः
ततो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा, comma, सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयं, so ha and ba there, गजाह्वयं पितरं सान्त्वयामास, comma, गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीं. ततो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयं पितरं सान्त्वयामास गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीम्
ततो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयम् पितरं सान्त्वयामास गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीं ततो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयम् पितरं सान्त्वयामास गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीम्
तदो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयं पितरं सान्त्वयामास गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीं तदो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजाह्वयं पितरं सान्त्वयामास गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीम्.
And the first line, last word, gajah, ja sound, okay, gajahvayam.
Gajahvayam. Okay.
Pitra chanumato raja, comma, Vasudevanumoditah, one word, Chakara rajyam dharmena, comma, Pitru paitamaham vibuhu. Pitra chanumato raja, Vasudevanumoditah, Chakara rajyam dharmena, Pitru paitamaham vibuhu.
पित्राचानुमतो राजा वासुदेवानुमोदितः चकार राज्यं धर्मेण पितृपैतामहं विभुः पित्राचानुमतो राजा वासुदेवानुमोदितः चकार राज्यं धर्मेण पितृपैतामहं विभुः
पितृचानुमतो राजा वासुदेवानुमोदितः चकार राज्यं धर्मेण पितृपैतामहं विभुः पित्राचानुमतो राजा वासुदेवानुमोदितः सकार राज्यं धर्मेण पितृपैतामहं विभुः.
इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां प्रथमस्कन्धे युधिष्ठिर राज्य प्रलम्भो नाम नवमोऽध्यायः. So what we'll do is I'll just maybe the stuti ended in 42. So there's about 7 more stanzas. I'll just say the meaning of this and then we'll go to the 10th chapter, right? So essentially, like Bhishma Stuti comes to an end. So then Sutta Puranika is continuing, saying that having said this, because Bhishma anyway we saw before, he completely withdrew all his senses, he gave up all his material attachments, he got everything under control, and then he had a single focus with his eyes open. He was just looking at Krishna in his last moments of death, and then he then chanted the Bhishma Stuti, right? So he was very blessed because first of all, he got this opportunity because Krishna also gave him the opportunity, right? So anyway, so at that point, then finally Bhishma's then soul then leaves, then he then merges into Krishna itself. So Sutta Puranika is continuing the story, saying with this, both Mano, Vak, Drishti. So both his mind, speech, his sight, and his actions, everything completely stopped. Everything then merged into the Lord, and then he became one with the Bhagavan there at this point. So having realized that, then everybody comes to the realization that finally Bhishma's time has come and Bhishma has actually passed. So everybody do their respective honors to Bhishma, right? Whatever the royal honors are done, it's all done. And Yudhishthira, because he's the kind of the only person left, right? If you think of that entire dynasty, so he had to then perform the final rites for Bhishma as well. So he does it, and everybody, whoever is present there, because if you remember, a lot of people came. Vyasa came, Shukabrahmam, a lot of these people had, Narada had come. So everybody then pay their homage to Krishna, and everybody then starts to depart. Once all of them have left, Krishna, then Yudhishthira, along with Krishna, comes back to Hastinapura. So there, if you remember, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, so we kind of, haven't talked about them. So their story is going to start coming a little bit now, what happened to them or what's going to happen to them, right? So they are kind of there, and the only person taking care of them is Yudhishthira at this point, because they have also lost all their children, right? So Yudhishthira is like their son. So Yudhishthira comes and informs them that the last person of kind of one more person remaining there in the battlefield, Bhishma, has also passed away. And of course, Yudhishthira and Krishna console them, but they're also very sad because of Bhishma passing away. So after all of this has happened, finally Yudhishthira then takes up the kingdom. So according to whatever their principles are, they then establish Yudhishthira as the king, and then he takes over the kingdom. So that's the end of the 9th chapter here. So we'll start with the 10th chapter. So what I'll do is I'll maybe break it into a couple of sections here, right? So it's a very small chapter actually. It's about Krishna departing for Dwaraka, right? That's all the topic there is. But like in Bhagavatam, at many places, every time somebody gets a chance, they try to do a stuti to Krishna. So this is some half of this chapter is going to be stuti that some people are going to do, but majority of the chapter is just Krishna departing. That's all. So that whole process is 36 stanzas which they talk about. So the first or 20 stanzas here, so the Shaunaka Rishi, because remember again the conversation is happening between Suta Pauranika and the Shaunaka Rishi and other rishis who are present in Naimisharanya. So the Shaunaka rishis continue to ask the question, okay, Yudhishthira now has been established as a king. So we now want to know, how does Yudhishthira rule? What happens to the kingdom of Yudhishthira, right? So please tell us about it. So then Suta Puranika then continues the story there, saying Yudhishthira is now established. Previously he was, he still had a little bit of qualms because all of these people had to die, he had to take over, but all of that has been resolved now because Bhishma kind of explained all the dharma to Yudhishthira. Krishna also consoled. So with that, Yudhishthira then along with his brothers then starts ruling the kingdom because he's now much more enlightened than how he was before. And then he talks about, like how in the period that Yudhishthira is ruling, which is actually not a long period. So in the period that Yudhishthira is ruling, everything was very prosperous. And they give some examples here. I'll say this because later on, they'll talk about how some of these things are going away, right? So it talks about, Nadya, Samudra, Girayaha, all of that. All the what do you call, the rivers are flowing well, right? Everything is, the crops are growing well. So the oceans, hills, mountains, everything is very prosperous. The seasons are all good because if all of that is going steady, that means the kingdom is actually going steady, right? No issues to the kingdom. Everything is going fine. And pretty much Yudhishthira did not have any enemies, although there were some kings who did not like, who were defeated, who were not killed. Nobody was disturbing Yudhishthira. So his kingdom was going pretty peaceful. There was no diseases, no mental agony to anybody, and everything was actually ruling very smoothly. So at that point, so Krishna then stays back in Hastinapuram for a few more months, right, to make sure everything is well established. And now Subhadra is there, and he made sure Yudhishthira was ruling everything. And once all of that actually happens, Krishna then decides that, okay, it's time for me to finally leave for Dwaraka. So he had come before the Mahabharata war, stayed through that. The first time Krishna was about to leave, at the time Uttara came and stopped. The second time Krishna was about to leave, Yudhishthira had the conundrum. And finally, now that everything is settled, Krishna decides, okay, time for me to actually leave. So he gets permission from Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira says, I agree, right? Time for you to, although we don't want you to leave, but time for you to leave. So then again, it will talk about from 9th, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti. It says all of these people, right? So they all cannot, you just think of the time where Krishna is actually not going to be there because they are going to be separated, right? So even when we meet close people, when our family leaves, there's a separation that we have. So when you have, when you are actually, when you go to any temple, you feel you don't want to leave the temple and come. So all of these people have been spending so much time with Krishna. They've been living with him, they've been seeing him every day, touching him, having conversations with him, sitting with him, eating with him. So all of these people feel that Krishna leaving is going to leave such a big void that, nothing can be done, right? So they all begin to feel, very sad about it, right? She talks about how, they say, Viraham Sharangadhanvanaha. Everybody's, is kind of, crying and their heart is actually melting because they don't want Krishna to leave. Then all the women who are there, it talks about how they all start crying. Then they all come to the realization that when Krishna is leaving, I don't want to be crying because that is like misfortune or bad things may happen. So then they force themselves and they do not cry about it. And then all these, then Arjuna, of course, he's actually coming there with carrying Krishna, walking Krishna out, right, with an umbrella. Arjuna is holding the umbrella as Krishna is coming. Then Yudhishthira arranged for all these musicians and everybody to be performing to give him a very royal send off, right, because he's the king and Krishna is actually departing. Then it talks about how, everybody who's there, they're kind of giving their offering, their final praises and everything to Krishna. And the Pandavas also go up to a particular point. They go drop Krishna up to a particular point, and after that, Krishna himself, then he says that, okay, you all can go back, and they all start coming back. So, but before that, some women who are actually sitting on the top of the terraces who are actually looking at Krishna, so they then start doing some praises to Krishna, right? So that is a small kind of a 10 stanzas that comes from about 21st stanza to about 30. This is stuti that they will do. I'll explain some meaning of what they are saying, but essentially, everybody there is very upset that Krishna is leaving and they can't bear to see Krishna leaving, but finally time for him to leave. So that is pretty much what it covers till about 20 stanzas here, right? And then 20 to 30 will kind of go through the small stuti that they all do as well. Okay, so we'll switch now. So Miss Savita, you can be student, and then Sriram Irkela, you can be student. All right.
Okay. Rajesh,
Okay, you can substitute.
Yeah.
So ata dashamodhyayah Shaunaka uvacha hatva swarikta sprida atathayino, comma, Yudhishthiro dharma britam varishtah sahanujaif pratyavaruddha bhojanah, comma, katam pravrittah kimakarashitatah. Can't break it, kim akarashitatah, but you can say it together. Shaunaka uvacha hatva swarikta sprida atathayino Yudhishthiro dharma britam varishtah sahanujaif pratyavaruddha bhojanah katam pravrittah kimakarashitatah.
Shaunaka uvacha hatva swarikas
Okay, then class learner.
Yudhishthiro dharma bhritam varishtah sahanujaih pratyuvaruddha bhojanah katam pravrittah kimakarashitatah. Shaunaka uvacha hatva swarikthasprida atatayino Yudhishthiro dharma bhritam varishtah sahanujaih pratyuvaruddha bhojanah katham pravritta kimakarashitatah.
The second line, pratyavaruddha.
Okay. Sahanujaih pratyavaruddha bhojanah katham pravrittah kimakarashitatah.
Rajesh, naane solren. Saunaka uvacha hadva swariktas saprata atatayino Yudhishthiro dharma pratam varishtah sahanujaih pratyavritta bhojanah kadam pravritta kimakarashitatah. Hadva Saunaka uvacha hadva swarikta saprata atadayino Yudhishthiro dharma pratam varishtah sahanujaih pratyavritta bhojanah kadam pravritta kimakarashitatah.
The second line, second word, pratyavaruddha.
Oh, vriddhan solitana, sorry.
Varuddha.
Sahanujaih pratyavaruddha bhojanah.
Suta uvacha Vamsham kuror Vamsha davagni nirhritam, comma, samrohayitva bhava bhavano harihi niveshayitva nija rajya ishwaro, comma, Yudhishthiram prita mana bhabuvah. Sutha uvacha Vamsham kuror Vamsha davagni nirhritam samrohayitva bhava bhavano harihi niveshayitva nijarajya ishwaro Yudhishthiram pritamana bhabuvah.
Suta uvacha vamsham karor vamshadavagni nirhritam samrohayitva bhava bhavano harihi niveshayitva nijarajya ishwaro Yudhishthiram pritamana babhuvah. Suta uvacha vamsham karor vamshadavagni nirhritam संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः.
That's the first line. Kuror Vamsha.
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्कृतं संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्ये ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः.
सूतोवाच वंशं कुरुर्वंशतवाग्निर्हृदं संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः. सूतोवाच वंशं कुरुर्वंशतवाग्निर्हृदं संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः.
निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तम्. So you can break at that ma. Bhishmoktam athachyutoktam, comma. Pravritta Vijnana Vidhuta Vibhramaha Shashasa Gamindra Ivajitashrayah, comma. Paridyupantham, this little bit of a tough, this stanza. Paridyupantham Anujanuvartitaha. That will be easier to break at that ma. निशम्य भीष्मोक्तमताच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विधूत विभ्रमः शशास गामीन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः.
निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विधूत विभ्रमः शशास गामीन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः. निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अथाच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विधूत विभ्रमः शशास गामीन्द्र इवाजिताश्रयः परिद्युपान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः.
निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अदाच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विदूत विप्रमः शशास कामिन्द्र इवाजिदाश्रयः परित्यपान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः.
Second line परिद्युपान्ताम् use.
Oh, you sorry, line code you sorry. निशम्य भीष्मोक्तम् अदाच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्त विज्ञान विदूत विभ्रमः शशास कामिन्द्र इवाजिदाश्रयः परित्युभान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः.
कामं ववर्ष पर्जन्यः, comma, सर्व काम दुघा मही. The next word, little difficult to say it. Si, she, chus. So si, she, chu. Si, she, chus. Sma brajan gavah, comma. Payasodhasvatir mudha. Kamam vavarša parjanyah sarva kama dugha mahi. Sishikchusma brajan gavah payasodhasvatir mudha.
कामं ववर्ष पर्जन्यः सर्वकाम दुःखामहि शिशिचुस्म व्रजान् गावः पयसोधस्वतीर्मुदा. कामं ववर्ष पर्जन्यः सर्वकाम दुःखामहि शिशिचुस्म व्रजान् गावः पयसोधस्वतीर्मुदा.
कामं ववर्ष पर्जन्यः सर्वकाम तुकामहि शिशीषु स्मवरजान् आवह भयसोदस्वधीर्मुदा. कामं ववर्ष पर्जन्यः सर्वकाम तुकामहि शिशीषु स्म व्रजान् गावः पयसोदस्पदीर्मुदा.
No, Sriram, the second line, first word, you're saying she, you're saying chus, short e. Okay. She, chus.
Shishishus.
Yeah, that's it. Don't stretch that on. So,
Ah.
Nadyas samudra girayah, comma, sa vanaspati virudah, phalantyoshadayas. So remember the word oshadaya. Phalantyoshadayas sarvaha, comma, kamam anvrutu tasyavai. नद्यः समुद्रा गिरयः स वनस्पतिविहृदः फलन्त्योषधयः सर्वाः काममन्वृतु तस्य वै.
नद्यः समुद्रा गिरयः स वनस्पतिविरुधः फलन्त्योषधयः सर्वाः काममन्वृतुस्तस्य वै. नद्यः समुद्रा गिरयः स वनस्पतिविरुधः फलन्त्योषधयः सर्वाः काममन्वृतुस्तस्य वै.
नद्यः समुद्रा गिरयः स वनस्पतिविरुधः फलन्त्योषधयः सर्वाः कामम् अनुवृतु तस्य वै. नद्यः समुद्रा गिरयः स वनस्पतिविरुधः फलन्त्योषधयः सर्वाः कामम् अनुवृतु तस्य वै.
नाधयो vyadayah kleshaha. So add a visarga there because we're going to put a comma there. Daiva bhutatma hetavah ajata shatrabhavan, comma, jantunam ragni karhichit. नाधयो व्यादयः क्लेशाः दैवभूतात्महेतवः अजातशत्रावभवन् जन्तूनां राज्ञि कर्हिचित्.
नाधयो व्यादयः क्लेशाः दैवभूतात्महेतवः अजातशत्रावभवन् जन्तूनां राज्ञि कर्हिचित्. नाधयो व्याधयः क्लेशाः दैवभूतात्महेतवः अजातशत्रावभवन् जन्तूनां राज्ञि कर्हिचित्.
नादयो व्यादय क्लेशाः दैवभूतात्मा हेदवः अजातशत्रावभवन् जन्तूनां राज्ञि कर्हिचित्. नादयो व्यादय क्लेशाः दैवभूतात्मा हेदवः अजातशत्रावभवन् जन्तूनां राज्ञि कर्हिचित्.
उषित्वा हास्तिनपुरे, कॉमा, मासान् कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृदां च विशोकाय, कॉमा, स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया. उषित्वा हास्तिनपुरे मासान् कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृदां च विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया.
उषित्वा हास्तिनापुरे मासान् कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृदां च विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया. उषित्वा हास्तिनपुरे मासान् कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृदां च विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया.
उषित्वा हास्तिनपुरे मासा कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृदं स विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया.
The second line, first word, suhridam.
उषित्वा हास्तिनपुरे मासान् कतिपयान् हरिः सुहृतां स विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रियकाम्यया.
आमन्त्र्य चाभ्यनुज्ञातः, comma, परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतं. You cannot break that word. परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतं. आरुरोह रथं कैश्चित्, comma, परिष्वक्तोऽभिवादितः आमन्त्र्य चाभ्यनुज्ञातः परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतम् आरुरोह रथं कैश्चित् परिष्वक्तोऽभिवादितः
आमन्त्रय चाभ्यनुज्ञातः परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतम् आरुरोह रथं कैश्चित् परिष्वक्तोऽभिवादितः.
Become the first word amantrya, not traya, it's half tra.
आमन्त्रय चाभ्यनुज्ञातः परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतम् आरुरोह रथं कैश्चित् परिष्वक्तोऽभिवादितः.
आमन्तर्यसाप्यनुज्ञातः परिष्वज्याभिवाद्यतम् आरुरोह रथं कैश्चित् परिष्वक्तोऽभिवादितः.
Again, the first word amantrya. Amantarya, you're saying. A tra is only a half tradanga. So amantrya.
Oh, okay. Amantriya sapnya ujjagdaha parishvajjabivadyadam aruroha ratam kaischit parishvaktobhivatitaha.
Just practice it on the word mattum. I think you're still saying a full tra there. Amantrya.
Oh, sir. Okay.
Triya. Or the T-R-Y-A mari, not Traya is T-R-A-Y-A. Think of it that way. This is just T-R-Y-A. Triya.
Sure.
Shorter. Okay. Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, comma, Virata, Tanaya, Tata, Gandhari, Dhritarashtrascha, comma, Yuyutsur, Gautamo, Yamau. Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Virata, Tanaya, Tata, Gandhari, Dhritarashtrascha, Yuyutsur, Gautamo, Yamau.
Rajesh, question.
Yeah.
Draupadi is a long D or is it short?
Long E, Draupadi,
Long.
Kunti.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Viratatanaya Tatha Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yudhitsurgautamo Yamo. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Viratatanaya Tatha Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yudhitsurgautamo Yamo.
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Viradhanaya Dada Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamau. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Viradhanaya Dada Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamau. So Dhritarashtrascha pass kodukku Rajesh.
After that there is a comma. Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamau.
Yeah, okay, I'll repeat it. Subhadra Draupadi Kundi Viradhanaya Dada Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamau.
Brikodarascha Dhaumyascha, comma, Striyo Matsya Sutadayah Na Sehire Vimuhyanto, comma, Biraham Sharanga Dhanvanaha. So it just talks about all these people, like we were telling, all of them are feeling the pain, right, that Krishna is going to leave. Brikodarascha Dhaumyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayah Na Sehire Vimuhyanto Biraham Sharanga Dhanvanaha.
Rikodarascha dhaumyascha striyo matsya sutadayah nasehire vimuhyanto viraham shargadhanvanah. Rikodarascha dhaumyascha striyo matsya sutadayah nasehire vimuhyanto viraham shargadhanvanah.
Vrigodarascha Saumyascha Striyo Madhyascha Sudadayah Na Sehire Vimuhyando viragam saranga danvanaha.
the first line la dhaumyascha, second word.
Vrigodarascha dhaumyascha striyo matsya sudadayaha na sehire vimuhyando viragam saranga danvanaha.
Rajeshi, who is that Malsya Sudadaya? Who are they mentioning?
Men. Just men. So Striya and Matsya, just men and women.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Everybody. Sutta, like all the kings are there, etc. So kind of all of those people. Sat Sangan Mukta Dussango, comma, Hatum Not Sahate Buddha Kirtyamanam Yasho Yasya, comma, Sakrit Akarnya, if you want to break it, that Sakrit Akarnya Rochanam. Satsangan Mukta Dussango Hatum Not Sahate Buddha Kirtyamanam Yasho Yasya Sakritakarnya Rochanam.
Satsangan Mukta Dussango Hatum Notsahate Buddha Kirtyamanam Yasho Yasya Sakritakarnya Rochanam. Satsangan Mukta Dussango Hatum Notsahate Buddha Kirtyamanam Yasho Yasya Sakritakarnya Rochanam.
Satsangan mukta dussango adum not sakate buddha kirtyamanam yaso yasya sakrita karnya roshanam. Satsangan mukta dussango adum not sakate buddha kirtyamanam yaso yasya sakrita karnya roshanam.
Tasmin Nyesta Dhiyaf Parthaha, comma, Sahiran Biraham Katham Darshana Sparsha Samlapa, and then put a plus, Shayanasana Bhojanaihi. Tasminyasta Dhiyaf Parthaha Sahiran Biraham Katham Darshana Sparsha Samlapa, Shayanasana Bhojanaihi.
Tasmin yasta diyah parthaha sahiran viraham katham darshana sparsha samlapa shayanasana bhojanaihi. Tasmin yasta diyah parthaha sahiran viraham katham darshana sparsha samlapa shayanasana bhojanaihi.
Tasminyas tadiyah parthaha sahiran viraham kadam tarsana sparsa samlaba sayanasana bhojanaihi. Tasminyas tadiyah parthaha sahiran viraham kadam tarsana sparsa samlaba sayanasana bhojanaihi.
Actually, Anandji, I was wrong in that 10th one. I confused Martya and Matsya. So this is referring to the Matsya Sutta is referring to the daughter of a fisherwoman, which is referring to fisherman, which is Satyavati, Bhishma's mother. So that's what it is referring to there when it's talking about the names, right? So that Satyavati is also there. So that's what is referring to Matsya Sutta. So
okay, thank you, Rajesh.
Sarve te nimishair akshaihi. So that one's easy to break at the tra. And then so te nimishair akshaihi. So the is that is coming, put a visarga comma akshaihi. Tam anudhruta chetasaha vikshantas sneha sambadhaha. So because you're going to put a comma, you add a visarga there, sambadhaha comma vichelus tatra tatraha. Sarve te nimishairakshaih tamanudhruta chetasah vikshanta sneha sambadhaha vichelus tatra tatraha.
Sarvate nimishairakshaihi tamanudruta chetasah vikshanta sneha sambadhaha vichelus tatra tatraha. सर्वे ते निमिषैरक्षैः तमनुद्रुतचेतसः वीक्षन्तः स्नेहसम्बद्धाः विचेलुस्तत्र तत्रः
सर्वे ते निमिषैरक्षैः तमनुरुद्धमनुरुद्धमनुत्रदसेदसः वीक्षन्तः स्नेहसम्बद्धाः विसेलुस्तत्र तत्रः सर्वे ते निमिषैरक्षैः तमनुत्रदसेदसः वीक्षन्तः स्नेहसम्बद्धाः विसेलुस्तत्र तत्रः.
ராஜேஷ் ஸ்நேக சம்பத்தால விசர்க்கம் இருக்கானே?
And if you're pausing, then you add the visarga.
Okay.
Because you're putting a comma there, it becomes sambadhaha. If you're not pausing, it just continues. Sambadha vichelus tatta tatta. Okay.
Okay.
Nyarundhan nudgalat. So this one I'm going to break it into 3 parts. Nyarundhan nudgalat bashpam. So the mau that is there, you first put a im. Nyarundhan nudgalat bashpam, comma. The next word starts with the au. Autkantyad devaki sute. So that 3 parts there. Niryatya ghara. So this word, unfortunately, you cannot break it. You have to say it as one word. Niryatya gharan no bhadram. Up to that point. And then a comma. So niryatya gharan no bhadram, comma. The next word starts with the e. Iti syat bandhava striyaha. Nyarundhan nudgalat bashpam autkantya devaki sute niryatya ghara no bhadram iti syat bandhava striyaha. So Savita mute irkel.
Nyarundan udgala bashpam aukandat devaki sute niryatya garan no bhadram iti syat bandhavastriyaha.
And the first line, Autkantyat, ya is coming there.
Autkantyat devaki sute.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Nyarundan nudgala bashpam autkantya devaki sute niryatya garan no bhadram iti syat bandhavastriyaha.
Nyurundanutkalat bashpam autkandhyat devaki sute niryatya karam no bhadram idi syat bandhavastriyaha. Nyurundanutkalat bashpam autkandhyat devaki sute niryatya karam no bhadram iti syat bandhavastriyaha.
Mridanga shankha bhed yascha, comma, veena panava gomukhaha dhunduryanaka, that's one word, dhunduryanaka gantadhyaha. So put a visarga there because we are going to stop there. Gantadhyaha nedur dundhubayas tatha. Just talks about all the instruments which were there to give the royal send off. Mridanga shankha bheryascha veena panava gomukhaha dhunduryanaka gantadhyaha nedur dundubhayas tatha.
Mridanga shankha bheryascha veena panava gomukhaha dhunduryanaka gandadhyaha nedurdundubhayastatha. Mridanga shankha bheryascha veena panava gomukhaha dhunduryanaka gandadhyaha nedurdundubhayastatha.
Mridanga shankha पेर्यश्च वीणापनवोको मुखाः दुन्दुर्यानकगण्डात्याः नेदुर्दुन्दुभयस्तदा मृदङ्गशङ्खपेर्यश्च वीणापनवोको मुखाः दुन्दुर्यानकगण्डात्याः नेदुर्दुन्दुभयस्तदा.
We'll do 3 more and we'll stop. So we'll just repeat one time. Sapita Srina. Prasada Shikara Rudhaha, comma, Kuru Naryo Didrukshaya, Vavrushu Kusumaih Krishnam, comma, Prema Vridasmitekshanaha. That's one word. Vridasmitekshanaha. Prasada Shikara Rudhaha, Kuru Naryo Didrukshaya, Vavrushu Kusumaih Krishnam, Prema Vridasmitekshanaha.
प्रासादशिखरारूढाः कुरुनाद्यो दिदृक्षया ववृषु कुसुमैः कृष्णं प्रेमवीडास्मितेक्षणाः.
प्रासादशिखरारूढाः कुरुनार्यो दिदृक्षया ववृष कुसुमै कृष्णं प्रेमव्रीडास्मितेक्षणाः.
Idam, the first word, Prasada Shikhararudhaha.
Prasada, okay. அதை பார்த்தா பிரசாதம் படிக்கிற மாதிரி வருது எனக்கு. சாரி.
ஆமா, அது
பிராசாத சிகராரூடாஹ குருநார்யோ தித்ருக்ஷாய. சரி, ஓகே.
That's right. Sitata Patram Jagraha, comma, Mukta Dama Vibhushitam, Ratna Dandam Gudakeshaha, comma, Priyah Priyata Masyaha. Sitata Patram Jagraha, Mukta Dama Vibhushitam, Ratna Dandam Gudakeshaha, Priyah Priyata Masyaha.
सितातपत्रं जग्राह मुक्ता दाम विभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः प्रियः प्रियतमस्यः.
सितातपत्रं जग्राह मुक्ता दाम विभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशः प्रियः प्रियतमस्यः.
That's 18. Uddhavas Satyakishchaiva, comma, Vyajane Paramadbhute, Vikiryamanah Kusumaihi. Again, add a visarga there, comma, because we're pausing. Reje Madhupatif Pati. Uddhavas Satyakishchaiva, Vyajane Paramadbhute, Vikiryamanah Kusumaihi, Reje Madhupatif Pati.
उद्धवः सात्यकिश्चैव व्यजने परमाद्भुते विकीर्यमाणः कुसुमैः तेजे मधुपतिः पथि.
उद्धवः सात्यकिश्चैव व्यजने परमाद्भुते विकीर्यमाणः कुसुमैः रेचे मधुपतिः पदी.
Stop here today. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Gopika Jeevana Smaranam, Govinda Govinda, Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Kayena vacha manasendriyer va buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami. Thank you, everyone. See you next
Thank you,
week.
Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Rajesh.
Abriya.
India won.
Rajesh.
I could not have to go rewind and watch it now.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
was a really good game.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you,
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.